Welcome to the tutorial series on LLM fine-tuning for anti-tracking in web browsers. In this series, we will learn how to leverage large language models and fine-tune them for improved online privacy. We do this by detecting trackers in a browser environment. Hi everyone, this is Dr. Humaira and I am a data and AI mentor. In this tutorial series, we will focus on three major areas of modern day problems and their solutions. As you can see from the title, the first is online privacy and detection of online trackers. The second is doing so in a web extension or a web browser environment. And the third is using large language models and fine-tuning them to solve this problem. By the end of this series, you would have trained a large language model to detect trackers and deployed that solution into a browser extension. This is how it would look like. So imagine you are on a browser and you visit your favorite website. You open up your extension and it would let you know if it has any trackers on the page or not, if it's a safe website or not. So you'll see a pop-up that will tell you the status, it's safe. Another example, if there are trackers on the page, then the model will detect those trackers, and on the pop-up you will see that this is a tracking site. This is exciting, isn't it? So let's see what we will be doing in the rest of the series. We will build a machine learning pipeline. We will get the data, prepare it, take a pre-trained LLM, fine-tune it so that it can detect trackers. Then we will build the backend API server. This is where we will host our model, and then we will have a browser extension that will use that model to make the predictions. And in order to build the system, the first thing is we need to set up our development environment. And this is what we are going to do in today's session. To set up the development environment, you can get the code and the installation instructions from the GitHub repository. So let's go to the GitHub repository and do some downloads. We are now at the GitHub repository LLM-anti-tracking. And here you can see all the details about what we are going to do. Here we have our data and instructions for creating a virtual environment and activating that and installing all the Python libraries that we will be needing for this project. So let's start by downloading the repo. You can simply go to code and download zip. Here we have our downloaded data. You can move it to the directory in which you want to have it. I have created a tutorials directory and I am now copying it to the right folder. You can rename this file to whatever you want to have. I'm just removing the main, and you can unzip this to have all the data ready. Once that's done, we can now continue with our installation instructions. So going back, the next step is to create the virtual environment. For this, we will go to our terminal and follow the commands that are given to us over here. So we copy the command from here and now come to our terminal and paste it over here. We should be in the tutorial folder where we had just downloaded our repo. This will take a few seconds or a few minutes and create the virtual environment for you. That was indeed just a few seconds. Now we go back to our browser and see what is next. The next step is to activate this virtual environment. So we go back and do that. And now the virtual environment is active and we are in our environment. The next step is to go into the environment and do the installations. So let's proceed with that. As we can see in the instructions on the GitHub, we need to go to the directory which we have just downloaded, the LLM-NT-tracking, and there we can install all the requirements based on the file which has been provided to us. So we will go to the right directory and paste the command which we just got, which says pip install -r requirements.txt. This will look at our requirements.txt file and do all the installation of the desired packages that we need for this project. Again, it will take a few seconds or a few minutes, and then we will be done. And once that will be done, then we will be good to go and we can start building. And that's basically it. We are at the end of our first session, setting up the development environment to build our application that will allow us to use LLMs for anti-tracking. In the next session, we will continue with building the machine learning pipeline and more specifically preparing the data to train our system. Stay tuned and see you in the next session. If you encounter any errors or if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Till next time, bye.